Fortnite Chapter 7 has just about been fully revealed at this time, and guys, I can officially say this is absolutely insane. Just about every tiny, minute detail about Chapter 7 has been revealed only like 15 minutes after the event ended. So as you guys know, Chapter 7 early access footage is officially here, and creators are dropping a ton of gameplay. Unfortunately, your boy Prozero was not actually able to go to Epic Games HQ and play this, but I am going to cover what other people are posting. This is our first real look at what Fortnite is actually doing after 0 hour, and I'm not kidding, this is shaping up to be one of the most insane launches we have had in years. Not just talking about story, not just gameplay, but everything looks insane, and there is so much to break down. The Traveler is literally floating over the island. We've got completely new weapons, brand new mechanics, some boss stuff, POIs of course, storm changes. Fortnite is basically rebuilding itself. So today, we're going to go through everything creators have shown so far, and some of this is honestly game-changing, you guys. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the new weapons. Now, of course, I don't believe all of them have been shown yet, so I may miss some of them. If I do, I apologize, but I'm going to try to encompass everything that we have seen so far. This category alone is enough to make this chapter feel like a reset. First, we have the Arc Lightning Gun. Now, at first, I really didn't think this was going to be that cool. Looked kind of lame. Looked like one of those new things that, you know, nobody really picks up. But this thing fires literal electricity that chains between players. It melts people at close and mid-range, and every creator who's actually tested it says that it feels insane because of that chain effect that it has. Now, if you shoot like one piece of build, it's going to like reflect to all of the other builds around it, and the same thing with players. So you can damage multiple pieces of building and multiple players at once. That'll be great for people who are in like crowd fights and things like that. Super excited to use that one. I feel like this is one of the most unique weapons Fortnite has ever had, by the way. But then we've got a new AR as well. Now, this one looks like a hybrid between the MK assault rifle as well as just a regular AR that just has a scope on it. Super clean, doesn't have a crazy recoil pattern, tight spread, of course. Honestly, it looks like the kind of gun that's going to become meta. It feels like every time we have a red dot sight, you know, AR inside of Fortnite, it ends up becoming the meta. Same thing with Chapter 6 Season 1. We had the Hollow Twister introduced, and it was insanely good. One of my favorite weapons of all time, along with the MK. So very excited to use this one. And they're also giving us a new kind of dual shotgun sort of thing. And what's interesting is how much it resembles the OG pump design, but just kind of like compressed a little bit smaller, like it was squished down. It kind of seems like they're intentionally bringing back, you know, the kind of grounded stuff that we've seen before. And I really liked the idea of the pump and dump, you know, the SMG and the shotgun. And it looks like that's kind of what they're doing here, just with two shotguns. So interested to see that as well. And also, if you guys don't know, I don't know how many of you guys have seen footage, but they actually revamped like the hit marker sound, the death sound, and the death animation. When you actually hit people, it sounds a lot more like, you know, Call of Duty or Battlefield or something like that. And I actually really like it. It sounds super clean. There's an actual sound now when you do hit somebody instead of the usual, you know, like the cracking sound when you crack somebody's shield or something like that. And when they die, it sounds a little bit more like military-esque, if that makes sense. And I'll play it for you guys right here if I can find it.
But wow, am I glad they did. They completely revamped hit markers and eliminations.
But obviously, this probably isn't going to be the starting lineup for Chapter 7. There's probably going to be a lot more weapons that we haven't seen yet. But this weapon meta right here, I feel like is a lot more skill-based than stuff that we've had inside of Chapter 6. But we'll talk a little bit later about a new sword that is coming out that could be very frustrating, just like the Typhoon Blade from Chapter 6. Now, one of the biggest things that I'm most excited for are the new medallions, as well as some new like features that we haven't seen in Fortnite before. One of them actually gives you special like passive perks just for holding it. One of them has this kind of like a claw-shaped design. It looks like a boss, and it ties directly into one of the new like factions this season, I believe. This medallion is actually going to let you turn into a kind of boss. It's going to give you plus 25 shield and plus 25 health, and you have infinite sprint, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, once you pick it up, you're not actually able to drop it. I'm really not sure exactly how it's going to work. We'll just have to wait until we actually see it for ourselves in game. But the becoming a boss feature I think was really exciting, and I'm glad to see that they actually did it. Now we also have this brand new self-revive item. Now we did think this was going to be a medallion, and maybe there's an item and a medallion, but if you get knocked, you can literally revive yourself. I believe it only takes like 7 or 8 seconds. I think this is going to completely change how, you know, like squads and duos plays, especially in zero build and things like that. Really excited they add something like this, and I feel like it was long overdue. I'm really excited for the NPC boss thing. thing, and you're literally going to transform into a mini boss version of the person who ever has the medallion. So I'm not sure if it's going to be an actual boss themselves or if it's just going to be an NPC, but you'll actually turn into something else. And additionally, you're also going to have 2 henchmen that follow you around, which is going to be very fun to see. So much aura right there with that. But this is actually the first time Fortnite has let you kind of like step into the shoes of an NPC boss. I'm really excited to see what they do with that, especially if it has anything to do with the Ice King like we saw before. Now let's talk about the Traveler, or his name is actually, I believe, redacted right now. I don't believe we're actually supposed to know his name as the Traveler, but that's what I'm going to call him for now until we figure out what we're actually supposed to call him. But this is the moment where the storyline officially takes over the gameplay again. We've actually seen the Traveler floating above the island inside of this kind of mini version of the cube cradle, and it looks absolutely insane. It's literally like a mini cube reactor just suspended in the air, kind of watching over everything. I believe the cradle kind of just pulse with this energy, kind of like how Kevin did. Of course, we know the Traveler is connected to cube power because he has one in his helmet. Now, we've actually also seen multiple styles for this guy where he has a red cube, a blue cube, and a gold cube, and that red style is really big. That basically links him directly to the OG mode and the energy that we saw inside of the in-between. Now, there's a big question going on about whether the red cube is still inside the 0 point in the in-between because it showed up in the event. We'll have to wait and see, but I think this is absolutely awesome. I can't believe that he may have actually been pulling the strings all the way since chapter 1, but I will have a separate storyline video on this tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And of course, he's controlling the kind of wave drop thing because he destroyed the battle bus at the end of the event, at the end of the trailer. And he may be even affecting some storm behavior. He might be the most like hands-on villain Fortnite has had since the last reality. And obviously, he's probably connected to them in some way. And now that we know that the 7 are returning in some way with the Order having some voice lines and things like that, this could go absolutely anywhere, you guys. And I can't wait to see what happens. Okay, now let's move into some gameplay mechanics, and this chapter might have the biggest shakeups we've seen since Zero build launch. Now, drivable reboot vans are real. You can hop into them, drive around the map just like usual, and when you put your teammate inside of them, they'll actually revive that way. So if you don't want to sit and wait to revive somebody, because there will be ones that are stationary and ones that you can drive, and I believe they may be in different places each match, you can just throw them in one and drive away, and you'll be perfectly safe. But there is an opening so people can still shoot you through there. Now, the storm also looks a little bit different. As you guys know, eventually there is probably going to be different shapes in terms of the storm circle. It's like, it could be a 7, it could be just different shapes, but they also have this kind of like wave to them now, if you know what I mean. It's not necessarily a perfect circle of a storm that closes in, so that will be kind of interesting. Hopefully they continue to experiment with the storm because I think that's going to be awesome. Now, there are also these mythic portals that are going to spawn around the map, and entering them lets you grab the new Forsaken Vow or Vow Blade, not sure exactly how to say it, which gives insane mobility and melee power. This is going to be day 1 meta, kind of just like the Typhoon Blade is what I was talking about, and it has the same sort of animation as when you would get the lightsabers back in Galactic Battle. So really interested to see that. Chapter 7 gameplay feels like Fortnite mixing, you know, the classic stuff that we love with big, also story-driven twists at the same time. And honestly, this is exactly what people have been asking for. Specifically, I cannot wait to see how the surfing actually works onto the map, because as you guys can see here, it doesn't look like you're really able to go very far. You're gonna have to play quite a lot of matches to get through the entire map or actually land where you want to. So we'll see how that ends up going when it launches in about 7 hours. Now, one of the biggest things, you guys, is of course the map, and I'm sorry that I put this so late in the video, I didn't even think about it. It's officially confirmed to have 13 POIs. The map is crazy diverse. We've got a little bit of a snowy region, I believe, tropical beaches, you know, desert section, of course. It honestly feels like a rebirth of Chapter 3, which I absolutely love. People were worried this map would be small, but the side-by-side comparison shows it's a little bit smaller, but basically the exact same size as the Chapter 6 island, in my opinion. I really like the like color palette. It's very colorful. We've got some purple areas, some blue areas, and the 0 point shard is literally sitting in one of the new POIs, which means the main storyline is happening on the map again, not hidden anywhere. It's like right there. We have control of the 0 point shard, and the Dark Presence has been defeated by none other than the red cube. Who would have guessed that? And then right here, guys, I'll give you a look at the battle pass. Of course, some of these are item shop skins. I do apologize, I couldn't find an actual image of all of them together with their names, but of course we have the Bride, we have Yuki Ubari, who is not going to be in the battle pass. She's going to be a free skin if you guys logged in, which I assume that you do. We have Carter Wu as well. We have Kat Holloway, which is going to be very interesting to see. I like that skin a lot, actually. We have Marty McFly, of course, Kingston, and we have some others here as well, of course. And the actual name of the Traveler is Dark Voyager Reality Redacted. So I was right. This is the Dark Voyager. I mean, he had the same suit, so I'm glad that I was right about that, you guys. But that is all that we've seen in terms of the mechanics of Chapter 7. But guys, I cannot explain to you how much more is in Chapter 7 7. This chapter is filled with so much storyline stuff. I can't wait to cover it for you guys later on tomorrow. So make sure you guys subscribe so you do not miss that. Drop a like. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.